Hi folks, I'm the Dutchman. Welcome to my journal. And today we're getting close to white-tailed deer season, and I decided that I wanted to make a tree stand out of wood high up in the trees that gave me a 360-degree view. So I'm going to go ahead and share how I went about this process, and I hope you get some ideas from it so that you can build a similar type of hanging tree stand. So let's get started. Well, I'm down here in the woods, and this is where I decided to reestablish my tree stand. As you can see, I have a feeder over there, and I'm in a low depression. I'll just show you what I have. I'm in a gully area, and there's a flat land up on top, which is a field. And then over to this other side, this is going back towards my house. As you can see, there's a slight hill that goes up there. I'm approximately between a quarter of a mile and a half a mile from my house, and there's a piece of property I have back here. And I've decided that I wanted to construct a tree stand that gave me 360-degree view and was nestled up in the trees the way it used to be when I was a young guy. We used to build our stands out of wood in the trees. They still do that, but everybody's gone to these metal tree stands. This metal tree stand that I have here is one of mine that was about 350 yards from here before I decided to move it here. This is just temporary scaffolding, and I have another ladder, and it is a lot of fun to move this stuff from up my garage all the way back here into the woods by myself. But it's a labor of love. And so what I'm going to do is I have 3 trees here, so I'm going to make like a triangular stand, and the type that I'm going to use to hang this from is going to enable the whole stand to swing between the trees. Here I've selected landscape ties, which are relatively inexpensive. I think they cost me about $5 a piece. They're very strong. They do tend to warp, but once they're up there and fastened properly, I don't think there'll be a problem with them. And like I say, I selected this spot because I have a trail that runs right through here where the deer go through. And there's another trail over here where there's small game that runs through. And I'm not only going to use this stand for deer hunting, this is also going to be an area for me to do some predator hunting, and I just like to photograph and watch wildlife, and this is just a beautiful habitat for them. And I'll have a roof on my little tree stand up there, and rain or shine, I can sit up there and just enjoy what nature provides us. So on with the construction. The hardware you're going to need to make the hangers for your tree stand is, I have 6 lengths of 24-inch long swing chain. At least that's what I call it, swing chain. I have S hooks. I need 6 S hooks, some 3/8 by 4-inch long lag bolts, and a dozen washers. You'll need 12 lag bolts, of course. To give you a little better idea of what I'm going to be doing up in the tree, it might be difficult for me to show you, is I'm using a 4x4 here just as a sample because I don't have any landscape ties left, and we're going to say that this is approximately the height that we're going to be hanging it at up in the tree. I'm going to take my chain. I put a little mark here just to show you. I'm going to take my chain, and then I'll take a drill in a starter hole. Then I'll take my lag, find that starter hole, and I'll drive it into the tree. Make sure you snug it up tight. Again, you want to make sure that you have the right height, because you want this to be square. And okay, so we're going to come back here and we're going to put in another lag. As you can tell, that's in there pretty tight. Now I'm going to take my chain, swing it around the board, and then in my case I'm going to be using an S hook. I'm going to take and hook it to one of the links. Bring it around. Attach it, and then I have a tool that I use to close up these links. And there you have it. That's it. And the chance of that coming out, slim to none. And as the wind moves the trees back and forth, because this board is going to be supported between two trees, this whole thing is going to move back and forth. Actually, the tree is going to be moving back and forth, and this will be staying stationary. And there will be no, if you fasten this board to this tree, okay, as this tree moves, it's going to loosen your lag bolts. And of course, this causes the stand to drop out of the tree. You certainly don't want that to happen. So there you go with that idea. Now, if you don't have the little tool that I have, or those S hooks, you can use a quick link. Same thing, you're going to put the quick link in here and thread it down, or you could use a carabiner if you so choose to do that. This happens to be a plastic one, so I wouldn't use this kind. I'd use certainly a strong metal one. But that's it. That's how this is going to be attached. If you want to fasten the extra chain to the board, that's fine. But anyhow, you do have a solid platform there. So we'll be heading out and hanging this up in the tree. I'm starting off by taking one of my landscape ties, tying it off so I can pull it up to the top, and then I'll be able to pull it across to the other side and hang it. To show you what I've done, I have the one beam going between the two trees, and it's hanging from the chains. I've moved my ladders to the other side, and I'm going to go ahead and put up leg number 2. I've completed the second leg, and I've moved my ladders over to do the final leg. I've completed the third leg of this stand, and I think that's going to be it for today. In order to make the floor for the tree stand, I'm going to go ahead and use 2x3s for the frame of the floor, and I have 2 here for my runners, of which I'm going to cut at 64 inches long, even though the floor itself will only be 5 foot long. I cut 4 of the 2x3s to become cross braces for my floor. I've completed building the frame for the floor. My cross pieces are 16-inch on center, just like you would normally do any kind of construction like this. And you see I have extended legs. Instead of making this leg 64 inches, I decided to make it 66 inches. Added another 2 inches on it. Now I'm going to take this, flip it over, and paint it with some camouflage paint that I use. Well, I slopped some paint on the bottom of the frame, and while that paint's drying, I'm going to go play in my garden for a while, and then we'll get back to this and lay out the top of the deck. I used 5/4, 6, 8 foot long deck plankings that I got at a good price. I got them for $3.50 a piece, so that's not too bad. I cut them down to 6 foot in length, and then of course, because I'm going 48 inches with this and I have little spaces in between, I had to take one of my scrap pieces that was left over, rip it down just to fill in the little space in between, and I'll put some screws in there just to hold it tight. Now what I'm going to do is paint this on one side, but it'll be the bottom side. I'll flip all of these over. The bottom side gets painted and the top doesn't. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I will not fasten this until I get out there, put the frame of the platform up first, and then I will pull these up by a rope and attach them one at a time. Well, I'm back out at the tree stand, and I have my floor frame set up, and I have a rope that goes up to my metal tree stand, and I'm hoping to just pull this up and lay it up there. As you can see, I have the frame up there, went up with no problem, and I'll go up there and I'll give you a closer look as to the way it lays out. Okay, we're up here on the top. I can show you how the deck frame sits on top of the tree frame. There are 7 contact points. Actually there's more than that. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 contact points. For safety's sake, once I have this up here, I'll attach some sort of a strap to the trees, just so it'll be loose, so it'll slide back and forth. And that's the whole point of this. As the tree moves back and forth, there's going to be give on this frame, as you can see me sliding back and forth here. Of course, the deck will be more stationary, and the supports, of course, on each side are exactly what will be moving. So now all I have to do is go get my decking. I'll load up my ATV and come on back here as far as I can and deck the top. Well, I loaded the four-wheeler and I'm ready to go. hauled up 2 of my deck boards, and now I'm going to go ahead and place them on top of the frame. The nice painted side goes, which isn't really a nice painted side, but that side goes facing down, and the reason for that is just that there's I don't want anything, you never can tell a deer coming by, just see something up there and it'll spook it. I've seen deer spooked for the dumbest reasons, so not to take a chance, just paint it and then be done with it. So I'm going to go ahead and fasten this. So there it is, the tree stand deck is complete. I have an extremely good view, especially when it comes this fall and the leaves drop here. This is going to be a beautiful, beautiful view of the whole entire area. So next I'm going to go ahead and make the sides for this to enclose it in a little bit. And of course I've been asked, when you're up there, do you wear a safety harness? If you feel it's secure, there's really no need, right? Whenever I'm up at any height like this, I always wear a safety harness. I have too many friends that have fallen out of their tree stands and been seriously injured. So I will be wearing a harness when I'm up here. So that's it for now, and we'll be back on part 2 of the tree stand. Just showing you how I move the metal tree stand over, and I'm going to use it as a ladder to get up to my tree stand. As it turned out, it's absolutely ideal to do it that way. And there it is.